Well, hello, other people on the YouTubes and our fellow Critical Impact members. We're here with our weekly episode of Masks New Generation, our superhero game, our superhero in training type of game where we are, our kids are actually getting kind of big for their britches. They're starting to really do some moving and shaking in this city, so we'll see how that pans out over the coming weeks. But we are we currently have our normal players minus Richter. They will hopefully come soon and join in when they are able. But for now, we have the others with us, and I believe we left off at kind of uh, a what moment, to quote Ryukin, I believe, at the end of last week, where you guys had mostly gotten away from Echidna, and then suddenly Emily's dads and Fourfold appeared on the scene and helped you subdue Echidna. And there's some questions about what the heck's going on with that. But I believe we will leave things at or start things with you guys coming up to the surface above the sores, with Echidna in tow. Not happy about it, but I'll turn the floor over to you guys now.
Where exactly do we intend on taking her now that we've captured her?
Everyone just looks around like, what do you do with a freaky half animal crazy lady?
Take her to jail?
Put her
Take
in
her to the
timeout.
pound?
I mean, I know what you do with a drunken sailor.
Don't.
Um, I would say that probably he's using two of his hands to kind of like manhandle carry around this bound echidna, but Fourfold will start like gesturing with his other two ones at you, voice bond, be like, well, if the prisons are currently under the jurisdiction of the H2A, I do not know if that would be a safe place to deposit this villain.
Yes, I would imagine not.
Good point.
I seem to recall that several of their rule breakers have already been released by them under insufficient evidence.
Presumably mercenaries that have worked for Parasol in the past.
Emily, you're definitely getting kind of fussed over by your two dads still. Scott's pulled himself a bit more together, but Hugo is still very much like trying to wipe the muck off your sleeves and stuff like that.
He's kind of torn between like the usual teenage like I'm fine and a little bit like oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, I'm probably in trouble.
Yeah, you're sure that there might be a conversation about that to come, but for now, Scott seems to just be checking out the surroundings, and it's almost like he's looking around just to make sure that no one else is going to come after you guys.
How did you guys get here?
Well, we've been Hugo will pipe up, but he'll say we've been looking around for you since you ran away the other morning, but I mean, we just suddenly got your GPS information, and we thought maybe you were in trouble and needed our help.
Quick question.
Yes.
Is she wearing her superhero outfit? Emily. Because if she is, wouldn't this be the first time her dad's learned about this?
Well, I don't know if you are wearing it or not. Are you, Raymond?
I thought I was, at least most of it, but I think I might have taken the helmet off back when it was dark because I can't probably see super well out of it when we were lurking through the sewers the first time.
That's fair, yeah. But even then, they knew that she was beatbox already, right? I thought we already had that conversation.
Oh,
I'm not positive, but
I seem to, I had in my notes anyway that that was something we got into after you rescued them from the mind control stuff when the car got beat.
yeah.
Yeah, I know for sure they know she's been hanging out with other heroes. I don't remember specifically her being outed as a hero herself, though.
Okay, so your situation might have been worse than you first imagined.
Thanks, guys.
Shh.
The message for now, though, will be the same that they've been looking for you, and all of a sudden, it's like you sent your information to them. So that's why they were very concerned that you were in trouble or something.
That makes sense.
Well, whoever it was that sent us that GPS request seemed keen on getting us all together, which is either a good thing or a bad thing, depending on who it is and what they have planned.
Scott will nod and say, "Given how bad things are in this city, I think we should have this conversation somewhere safer." And Fourfold will probably say something like, "Do you fellow, no, do you young fellows have somewhere that we might rest peacefully, where we can have a productive discussion?"
you mean a forum?
Uh, he just looks at you like he has no idea what you're talking about.
She thought that was clever.
We have voice spawn shit, but that's it.
Well, there is also the underground base in the park.
The three adults just look at you. There is an underground base in the park?
Don't worry about it.
It's fine.
Sheep thinks there are underground bases everywhere.
Well, perhaps we should make our way towards this destination.
I'm trying out of character to remember how we got here in the first place, if my ship would be nearby or not.
I think you guys would have taken the ship because it's not super duper close to the park.
So I'll start leading us toward the ship then, I guess.
As you guys start to head over that way, Muscle Sheep Catastrophe will pull, kind of hang back and pull you aside and say, "This is where we part ways, then, brother."
If it must be that way, feel free to stop by the park and say hello.
"Perhaps I shall. For now I must reforge the creature that I have become into one that can stand by your side as your brother."
If this is your quest, I'm gonna shake his hands.
He shakes your hand, and once again, there's that stillness for a moment. You can tell he's debating, trying to lift you like he did before. But afterwards, he will nod at you, nod at Fox, who is stoic, and then he just almost like Hulk jumps, bounds up to a rooftop, and then out of sight.
I'm not going to say anything, but I'm going to feel jealous of the fact that he can just Hulk jump up to a rooftop like that. Be like, I wish I could.
Yeah, it is starting to get to you a bit that Echidna didn't seem to give you these kinds of cool powers. You might want to ask her about that if she ever stops trying to bite Fourfold's arms off.
Doesn't matter. Sheep is sheep. Sheep does not need to jump rooftops to be cool.
I like to imagine she's not like viciously trying to bite his arms off, but more like, angry chihuahua kind of.
Oh, totally, yeah.
I'd assume they'd have her muzzled.
Well, they probably don't have a muscle on. So.
That was my interpretation. Now, if Void Spawn wishes to volunteer,
I mean, I did do that once before, but probably not right now.
especially since you're going to have to drive the ship.
Yeah, that would probably put the kibosh on that once we got to the ship anyway.
Alright, so you guys going to head back towards or not even but Nary's underground lab?
Yeah, I think that's the plan.
Well, you'll eventually make your way back there, fairly unobstructed. There does seem to be a little bit of movement going on in the city, but not terribly much more than normal. And the park is fairly empty when you get there. Um, Neri will probably greet you shortly after you touch down, as if she's been kind of waiting on you to get back, and she seems worried, but overall is glad that you guys are back and eager to get an update.
At some point in the flight, I would probably ask one of Emily's fathers about whether or not Fourfold checks out and why he isn't affected if he isn't.
Okay. How would you like to do this in terms of like discreetness level? Do you care if he hears you or
No, because if he is still mind controlled and nobody knows about it, I don't think it's going to make a difference. So I'm not too concerned about discreetness.
okay. So you kind of pose that question to the group. I'm sure maybe there's a bit of tenseness that goes through at least the kids in the ship, but Fourfold will look around trying to see where you are to talk to you, and Scott will just kind of look at Emily concerned for a minute. If I just talk, will he hear us, Emily?
I can hear you just fine.
Is he like the entire ship? Like, can he feel us sitting?
You know, I try not to ask too many questions so it doesn't get too weird, but probably.
We're basically inside him.
It is not even remotely accurate.
But yeah, Scott will just kind of look up at the ceiling, sort of like at a light fixture, and say, well, we were looking around everywhere for Emily specifically, but the rest of you kids too, and he kind of came to us. He said that you guys were in trouble and he was trying to find you as well. And Fourfold will pipe up. I I recovered enough of my faculties to know that somehow I knew that you guys were in need of adult assistance.
That's weird
I'm
because we didn't really. We put out the GPS, but I didn't write.
no, it was on my phone.
Yeah, it wasn't even me.
So how did you know?
I I did not receive GPS information. I only I was in the H2A office and I just knew that beneath the city you folks were engaging in a battle and I needed to help you.
Has anyone checked his eyes?
Is that out of character or in?
In character.
I'll look at him. I'll stare deep into his eyes.
They appear normal for the most part. You don't notice anything out of the ordinary.
He checks out.
Excuse me? Am I shopping?
For a better excuse.
Look, I I do not understand everything that has gone on this afternoon. I feel as though there is much I have not thought about recently, but I knew you were in need of fourfold justice.
Yeah, I'll lean over to the others and whisper. I don't know if it can be overheard or not. I frankly don't care. Can we trust him? Because his explanation isn't very solid.
Well, I'm not certain we have much choice but to trust him for now. He is probably the only one among us that can keep control over Echidna.
Literally, okay, fine. That's a good point.
Let's see. Void spawn. Let me make sure what the move used. Okay, will you give me a plus mundane roll, Void Spawn?
Okay. Yeah, it's about right for him.
Yeah, there. You agree with. You probably would agree with Highlight in that there's something fishy sounding about this, but other than being suspicious, you don't get much of an idea about why. No real epiphany. Well, he will continue to just stare at those of you that are sitting with him and say, I do not know why you would not trust me, children. Had we not had productive experiences at the H2A building together?
We have, but that was before most of the heroes in the city have been placed under Dr. Young's mind control.
Yes, it has been quite a long time since you were last were inside the building. Perhaps you should come by again. I know that we have recently begun recruiting younger members. I figured that would delight you.
Um,
Do you feel delighted?
I feel like I've got red flags going off over here.
He'll kind of turn his head a bit and blink, like he almost knows what he just said sounded weird, but he's not sure why. Like, if that makes sense.
I'm gonna go ahead. We're still flying to the park. We haven't landed, right?
Yeah, this could all be in transit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and find a rooftop to park on for the moment and pop back out of being in control of the ship and try to do what I did to myself before and use my condition for power ability to try and tap into his mind and see if there's like a mental block or anything like that that's subconsciously affecting him.
Okay, so that's definitely going to need a unleash your powers check to see how this will play out.
Okay. And I'll probably take. What would be the best way to approach that? Maybe angry, getting frustrated at this this constant barrage of new things that Young keeps throwing at us.
That makes sense to me.
So I'll take angry and roll my unleash check. Hey.
Thank you, roll 20.
Yep.
All right. Well, so a couple panels here to show what will happen as Void Spawn reappears and starts reaching out towards Fourfold, and I imagine it's like you put your hand like on his head almost, and start reaching around inside there, and he kind of
Like a Vulcan
stiffens.
mind meld kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He stiffens and but looks determinedly forward. Emily, your parents, like kind of reach almost to stop him, and then look at you like, "Is this normal?"
The last time we met him, he acted the same way and he was under mind control. He's okay, we're not hurting him, but we're not sure if he's trustable yet.
Hugo will nod at that, but Scott's still kind of steely gazing at Fourfold like he hadn't really contemplated that fact entirely. But okay, inside the mind of Fourfold Justice, Void Spawn,
Not a
you
place I ever wanted to be.
right. You swear as you go down these imaginary hallways that there's just the number 4 written on every single wall.
That sounds about right.
As you kind of dig around in there, you get at least confirmation of one thing that he did say, in that for the past couple weeks, there's not a lot of thoughts that have been archived, so to speak. It's been kind of like a blissful dream that he's had for a while. He has not had to do a whole lot of thinking for a bit.
Reasonable to surmise that someone else has been doing the thinking for him.
That would be the impression that you got. But I would say that the most recent thing trying to get to the bottom of this sudden change in behavior, you kind of narrow in on what happened to him today. And the last thing he kind of remembers at this tail end of dreamlike state is the command that a very buttery, sweet voice just telling him, the kids are underneath the city and they need your help. And then it was like he woke up.
Do I recognize the voice?
Let's see. Roll me just 2d6 for flavor.
Okay.
It sounds familiar, but it's not quite Dr. Young. It's a feminine voice, and you're not that's about as much as you can get out of it.
Would it be a reasonable assumption that it might be the female of the two cohorts that he seems to bring around with him all the time?
If you had to peg it on someone, that's who you'd peg it on.
Alright, I'll try to erase any mental blocks or controls or other kind of brainwashing effects that I notice while I'm there.
Okay, you can attempt to clean up as much as you can. If you're going to try and fully free him from Young's mind control, that's going to be a bit of a intense effort, but you're totally welcome to try. You'll just have to roll again.
Alright, I'll give it a shot. I was able to do it on myself, so hopefully I'll have decent luck trying it on someone.
I'll go ahead and do a freak
Could
roll and we'll
possibly
see.
go wrong?
Ooh. Do we have any team?
I think you had, it was either two or three. Let's just say two for fairness' sake, but you had two from the end of last session. So someone could, if you can figure out how you could help void spawn in the situation, you could make that a success. Or I don't know if your labels would make doing it selfishly a success or
Um,
you could if you
yeah,
swapped it by being selfish, that would also work.
yeah, it could. I just have to figure out how to help someone else selfishly.
True.
Doing it to learn more about the human mind on your own. Why that block is in place in the first place.
It's true. That would kind of make sense for him.
Well, let's do it this way. Does anyone have any idea how you could help void spawn with this?
I don't, not really.
Someone make a 4 joke.
I got nothing. Look, he's putting his tentacles on his forehead. That's all I got.
No, that was actually a decent
It was a
joke.
good attempt.
Yeah, I think I'll go with Rainbow's suggestion and say Void kind of looks at it as an opportunity because he was messing around with his own head before, which was more at home. So this is a good opportunity for him to learn about the mind of a super of the human race.
Yeah, I'd also say it kind of works in the way of you're not for a moment it's like you're not even doing this to help the team. You're kind of pitting yourself directly against Young to see if you can beat him in a way.
Yeah, that also works. Still kind of angry about having been messed with before.
Oh, and you are angry, so that makes sense.
It's true.
Okay, so you'll have to shift your labels. It sounds like freak will go up. What are you going to shift down?
Uh, all things considered, Savior probably makes the most sense.
I could I could see that.
See, I'll shift Freak up and Savior down.
Okay, so that makes it a partial hit. So either you can mark another condition, or I get to add an asterisk to how successful this is.
Mm. worried about the amount of conditions I'm accruing, but yeah, this seems important. I don't want to have to worry about an asterisk, so I'll go ahead and take insecure because I don't know in character how well this is actually going to work. So might be worried I'm going to screw something up and leave him brain dead or something.
It's not a undue thought, really. Um, Given how much Young seems to be able to mess with people. Okay, so you go to work and make, I think the first time, a really determined effort to not just undo hypnosis or something, but really cure someone of Jung's influence. And it's harder than you thought it would be. I can only think of it in terms of visuals, but the moment you start like digging into these mental pathways, they're just caked in gold all over, his thinking, his memories. Even at some points, the direct control of his body has been controlled by Young. You're kind of having to scrape that off little bit by little bit, and it's several minutes before you finally see Voicebomb withdraw his hand from Fourfold's head.
And I probably just collapse from my own mental exertion at that point.
What did you see?
Lots of number 4s.
God, I hate it.
Fourfold kind of is still staring ahead and he's blinking irregularly, and his hands start to like clench one by one and unclench, and he just looks around and says, I feel like there is much explaining you must do, children.
Can I leave that to someone else? That took quite a lot out of me.
Indeed, you deserve the chance to rest for your actions.
Highlights like, can you put him back? I liked him better the other way.
Yeah, basically. Can you reverse this?
I would like to know what this is you want reversed. I feel awake for the first time in several days.
Long story, bub.
We can just, well, I guess I'd try to explain to him about the mind control essentially and how he's hasn't been himself lately.
He sits back, and if you know the thinker pose, he does that, but it's two arms instead of one on the chin because he's extra like
He's double thinking.
that. He takes that pose and he says, "You claim this was Parasol's doing. Do you mean to suggest that the warnings you received about them having some sort of underground plan were true?"
Probably.
I I scarcely can believe it. We were told specifically that young, what was her name? Nary girl was just looking for attention. This information came from very high up.
I'm trying to remember. I don't think I have it in my notes, but the name of that mysterious fourth parasol executive that wound up becoming a hero.
Dr. Mobius.
That was it. I'll probably speak up and say, well, if we're right about our hunch, Dr. Mobius may in fact still be working for them. Sort of a long con.
You see, he kind of like shakes his head at that, and kind of puffs his chest up, like, "If you mean to incriminate Dr. Mobius, then I'm afraid you and I will have to have some firm discussions about propriety, young man."
Well, consider that there are 4 towers that have been constructed that are amplifying Young's powers. 3 of them coincide with one each of the scientists, and one is in the H2A building. Even with Parasol's money, that could not be done overnight. So someone inside the H2A with enough sway was able to organize that.
It's possible that someone else was compromised, but I cannot believe the old doctor would be involved in something like this. I I have spoken to him on many occasions. His reform was true. He had good work he wanted to do. To hear you call him a villain, I cannot abide by it.
What you hear.
Well, actually, at that, Emily, Scott will put a hand on your knee and say, Actually, I have something to say to this. I have spoken to Dr. Mobius quite a bit myself. Tell me, kids, none of you, I believe, are afflicted by it, but have any of you met uh, Pandorans who have been afflicted by strange eye conditions? Red one?
Has anyone?
Not that I remember.
Hmm. It is interesting you said that, Highlight, because I'm sure in character, Highlight would picture a very annoying pair of red eyes that he really hated looking at,
Oh, a pair of red eyes I really hated looking at.
attached to a young girl who pissed you off.
Right, those kids? Fucking kids. I wouldn't say that, but yeah, I'll pipe up and mention how when we were, I don't even remember what exactly happened, but I remember it was that older girl, then that boy, and then that younger girl they rescued from the internet.
Yeah, that would be correct.
They had red eyes. I didn't know they were aliens.
No, not aliens, nothing like that. The eye, it's a condition that runs along with certain Pandoran mutations. It's not very well understood yet, but Dr. Mobius was trying to do research on it. He wanted to understand what was ailing these rare Pandorans. And he was a good man. He really wanted to improve their lives.
Maybe they have something to do with him.
I only spoke to him as a medical professional, but I also struggle to think of him as someone that's had a long-term master evil plan. I mean, he was a funny old man when I spoke to him.
Those can be the worst.
Probably flashbacks for Emily.
Do we all get flashbacks of that movie?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
Like, ugh. He literally shot me.
with imaginary bullets.
Ow.
I mean, I don't think with the present company of our group anybody should be complaining about somebody being shot.
Are you talking
Yikes.
about Jalem?
A little bit, yeah.
Just being a little shady toward her.
Not in character, obviously.
But either way, grievances noted. Fourfold will still look at you all and say, I still refuse to believe that it was Mobius, but that is only more troubling in that someone else from very high up has been compromised. Do you have any thoughts of who else it might be?
Well, there is Apology, who has been known to be on Parasol's payroll, but he was not in charge of H2A until after this happened.
Apology was appointed Prime Director of the H2A?
If the press releases are correct.
Yeah, where have you been?
He looks at you like, where the fuck do you think I've been?
Oh yeah, brainwashed. Whoops.
And he says, that is wrong. Even if something had happened, the Apology was too junior a member. He should never have been appointed leader of the organization.
Well, as I said, he was already on their payroll. It makes sense they would want him to be in charge.
Yeah, I'd start. What's the word for it? Enthusiastically listing off all the reasons he should be where he is. Because I just remembered I'm a big fan of his.
Yes, the young one with much enthusiasm is partly correct, though. You have gone from accusing a dear old friend to someone who was incredibly popular and well liked. Uh, Apology was a junior member, but well noted for his skills, 5 stars in only a year, and much appreciated.
I do not know, though, that he would have the authority to arrange for that tower's construction before Young's brainwashing had taken place.
Indeed, this is all very troubling. But matters at the H2A aside, where else does that leave us? How many other of the towers have you guys compromised?
Just the one so far.
Yeah, like literally nothing else.
I see. Then we are dangerously placed.
Is this foreboding?
He looks at you again like, why the fuck do you think that?
I was just trying.
I like to imagine that he just doesn't get it when other people do it, like he only does it subconsciously.
That's exactly what's going on.
I give up. I'm never using puns again.
It would be good for your generation to learn to discuss without the use of memes.
I'm just gonna go on my phone now. I need a break from this conversation.
Void just asked, what is a meme?
We'll show you later.
I'd imagine what you pull up is that gif of Jalim being drug around the fountain.
Yes, always that one.
But you guys can, unless you have a change of destination in mind, you can then head towards the base when your recovered voice. Oh, hello, Richter. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I am using the app, the Discord app, but I cut out the, you know what?
Feel
That
like
was really hard to understand.
feel like I'm talking to the moon landing.
There's a lot going on there.
Oh God.
Was that Richter?
Yes, it was.
Well,
What did you think of my Wookiee impersonation?
it was great.
Amazing.
Are you
10 out of
at
10.
your normal headset?
No, I'm using my phone because I just got off work.
Oh, okay.
You poor thing.
Also,
But
I have a bit of a headache because work decided it'd be a good idea to jam everything to know about Medicare that you probably don't need to know.
Valid.
Huh. Who are you guys?
I'm tired.
Okay, Eeyore.
doing okay. Session's been going for about half an hour-ish, so doing some progressy thing.
Oh, shit. Who did I kill?
No one, thankfully.
Really?
We showed Void Spawn the GIF of you.
The what?
The GIF.
Oh.
How
Oh.
dare you say GIF in this house?
I know, I'm sorry. It just came out of my mouth.
When you
You-
said jip,
I'll never say it
I thought
again.
of the peanut butter. I'm like, what?
Me too.
God
That was
damn it.
my bad.
Now you made me hungry. Damn it.
Oh, so far, Void Spawn has unmind controlled fourfold, and that's mostly what we've done so far.
I see.
But it cost me 2 conditions to do it, so that's not sustainable in the long term.
We'll feed you when we get back to the secret lair.
Wait. So
Your alien pudding.
what conditions does Highlight have now?
I don't have any.
I meant, Void.
Angry, guilty, and insecure.
Yikes.
Whoa,
Oh no.
Well, Richter's a robot now.
that was almost auto-tuned at the start.
It's the new hit song.
Okay, well. Oh, bye.
Signal lost. Kind of saw that coming, to be honest.
God, that
Poor
was
thing.
funny.
You got really tickled by it.
Pissed, but I thought it was pretty funny. And
What?
I'll take that as a yes.
It's
What?
We gotta do this to him, guys.
At
Don't
least
do it.
someone's getting enjoyment out of my suffering.
Alright, well, we'll try and get back on track here. How's that sound?
That sounds about right.
Sounds bueno.
Can the track be auto-tuned?
Oh no.
Uh,
That one actually came through relatively okay.
What the fuck?
Okay, so are you guys heading back to the park base?
Yes, sir.
Right. You arrive, and as I said a while ago, Neri will come in at you and kind of look around and say, or probably spy the lumpy package that is the echidna and say, "So I take it you got it?"
Sure did. Gesture toward the
One
package.
down, 3 to go.
I see. And it appears you've brought a lot of new people with you.
Willingly, yes.
Emily's parents. And then this guy. Fourfold.
Yeah, Fourfold looks back down at her and says, My young child, it appears I owe you an apology.
No, apology is the other one.
Sweetheart.
Uh, um, let's see. I would say most of you, mm, you're not super familiar with human customs, Void Spawn, but I think even you can kind of pick up the vibe that starts to be dropped as Neri like puts her fists on her hips and kind of leans forward and says like, "Oh, do you now?" and just danger starts going off in everyone's head.
Julian just asked, what, did you two used to date or something?
Isn't he like an old man?
Yeah,
Comparatively?
yeah, he's a lot older than y'all.
Julian still asks that anyways.
Oh no.
Gross.
No, he only threw me out of the H2A building no fewer than 3 times when I tried to tell him that Parasol was gonna do all this shit.
Oh right, we were there. We were there.
No fewer than 4 palms come up like trying to ward her off. But I'd say there'd be a nice panel there of like Scott and Hugo like kind of turning around, grabbing Emily and kind of breaking off away, and Titania and Titania and Miro break off a different way, and suddenly it's just Neri and Fourfold, and she's yelling at him, and he's like sweat drop.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be around that.
Wait, is this Nari's version of What the Hell Hero?
Basically, she's chewing him out for ignoring her. Basically,
Hey, Highlight, give me your phone.
Why me?
Just give me your phone.
I'll cradle it to my chest like a precious child, but I'll hand it over.
And she just starts recording it.
That's a valid response.
you've
With
heard
Highlight's phone.
some. Oh, sorry.
Like, she just records the interaction with Highlight's phone.
Yeah, I'm sure all of you have heard some good rants in your day, and Void Spawn, you're able to very vividly compare it to some of Titania's. Not quite as bad as that, but still pretty nasty.
Void
Oh
just
dear.
leans over to Highlight and says, "So is this typical of all Earth women then?"
Ooh, you don't want to go there. Mm-mm. We ain't touching that.
Void, to answer your question, yes, but we don't like talking about it. and bringing it up will only make us angry.
As
Yes, I would
Emily
rather
said,
not have that directed at me.
Good call.
I was gonna say, as Emily feels a disturbance in the force.
What? I'm just explaining.
Well, you guys are able to kind of break up that and tend to your immediate needs. And as you, especially as you get down there and start to kind of, the tension starts to fade, it kind of sets in that, hey, you guys just took down one of the directors of Parasol, and that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
Does this
but
make us legit?
probably not. We're probably just a little above vigilantes at this point. And
I
not
mean, with
only that,
the
we're
status
still
quo
villains.
as it is, we're currently just legit terrorists.
Yeah, that too. Remember, the H2A still hates us.
Well, since it was brought to my attention that we hadn't done it yet, and trying to make room for you to do so, if you guys would like to anyone break out their celebration move thing that the playbooks have, this would be an opportunity for you to use that.
We have celebration moves?
Yeah, apparently.
Where's that?
So in your playbook on the left side, there's a section called Team Move.
On the left, team move. Oh,
Yeah, the first one is always triumphant celebration.
This sounds like a good way for me to get my feelings hurt.
yeah.
I mean, Dilemma just like turned over to Emily, Hugo, and what was the other father's name?
Scott.
And Scott. Like, so do you think we should help Emily out, or
I'm sure she can handle her dad's.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
do you think we should help Emily out?
Help her out where?
You know, like
Having my ass chewed out by my dad's.
yes.
Okay, I got you. So sorry. Who are you saying that to?
To Void, Highlight, Marrow, and Neri, and Titania, and Titania.
Well, Neri is occupied, but yeah, so you can pose that to your friends.
Yeah, so she just asked that. So, do you think we should bail her out?
Why would you ever get in the way of someone getting yelled at by their parents?
I don't know. Mainly because we kind of need her, because, you know, team and all that.
Well, I would
She sounds
certainly be
fine.
opposed to them attempting to take her away again.
Yeah, they might try that. So, are we going to intervene, or are we going to let this play out? Either way, I have popcorn.
You have what?
And Jillian just, like, pulls out, like, a bag of snacks. And
Oh.
snacks. Just in case you want to watch the show.
I'm curious
Well,
about that doctor now. Myself.
Oh, yeah, and where's our three good boys now?
They're, I don't know, taking a potty break?
One of them left.
Oh. Wait, why'd he leave? And which one?
The cat.
Aw, why?
The why? Probably because it's a cat.
He had to go find his own path.
So, in other words, leave food for him and he'll come home. Got it.
I guess.
Hashtag just cat. I can't even talk. Hashtag just cat stuff.
Anyway. So, yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I'm hungry, and she pops open the snack bag. It's literally just, fruits, veggies. It's like a literally healthy snack bag. And I'm hungry. I'm popping this open. Have some if you want. And she just like takes a bite.
That is the
Sheep
most
sits
boring
there,
snack
his tail
bag.
wagging.
Oh, sheep wants a treat.
Dylan just like ruffles in the bag and pulls out like are carrots good for dogs? I don't know that off the top of my head.
Such munching.
Feel like they are.
That.
Oh,
Void, who at this point is aware that it is not a normal thing, just for the sake of injecting some humor into the scene, will lean over, look into the bag, and say, "Do you have any CDs?"
what do you
DVDs.
mean?
Oh yeah, it was DVDs. I forgot.
All right, you eat those. No, because normal humans can't eat DVDs. Sorry. Guys, I think I'm fresh out.
I like to imagine that that just caused everyone's various conversations to stop.
Right. Well, while you guys do kind of ruminate over exactly what you intend to do with Emily, I do imagine that Emily, you have been kind of taken maybe to the back part of the lab by your dads, and are just looking around. Hugo more amused, Scott a bit more serious, and they stop by what looked like a chemistry set, beakers and boilers going, and he just like raises his eyebrow and, "Are you guys doing science experiments down here?"
Yeah, we're growing meth.
Well, on top of everything else, I wouldn't be abundantly surprised. Some of the kids in here look a little bit rough.
Nice.
Who is he talking about?
You
Uh,
obviously.
his eyes are on Marrow, but you get the impression he doesn't like some of you.
And by the way, if Highlight asked that out loud, Jalen would just say, "You obviously."
Just scoff
Meanwhile,
at
for
that.
no reason whatsoever, Void suddenly looks like a punk rocker.
Why?
Because he looks rough.
Oh my gosh. It should have been like a dog costume so you could double pun it.
Lighter.
Yes.
So now that we're here, Emily, what what all have you really been getting up to down here? Has it been going down into the sewers and fighting evil dog people?
I mean, that was just today. That's not an everyday thing.
Well, what is your everyday thing?
Mm, ordering pizza and playing with sheep. Sometimes we mess with the H2A, but that's not very often. H2A, parasol, my bad.
Well, Parasol recently, back in the day, you guys probably did fuck with the H2A a bit.
We TP'd them.
But before all this went down, you guys were kind of being rebels since they didn't want you to be superheroes as kids.
If some of this is actually a topic of discussion, Void will chime in with, I once impersonated a police officer.
And a lawyer. Don't forget that.
That too. I was his lawyer, and I point to Marrow.
Like, that's kind of illegal.
Scott just face palms hard.
Sometimes he shows us his bones.
It's true. Sometimes he does.
As miraculously, you've never seen the finger bone of a middle finger leave its sheath like.
Meanwhile, Jillian is just like
Of course, all
casually
this
crunching.
bone talk gets Sheep excited.
Jillian is just like casually crunching on like a carrot stick, like. And here I thought I was the weird one.
I'm the alien. Why would you be weird?
You know, obsession with plants creates a giant talking, walking plant. Speaking of which, and she just like whistles for Seymour to show up.
Does he have like supersonic hearing or something? Because this is kind of a distance from where he was.
He does not.
Okay, that's not gonna reach him.
Yeah, like, oh, looks like I can't call him from. Then she pulls out the whistle that summons the dogs.
Oh well,
No, we don't need that right now.
They're already
And they
here.
just, no, so they just come running. It's a summoning whistle after all.
well, this laboratory, which honestly, again, is pretty small. It was like a one-room thing, is now very full and rowdy. Got like 12 dogs and like 10 plus people in it.
Yep. I am not sorry.
Over the din of things, then, like lots of sound effect bubbles, Hugo would kind of take your shoulder, Emily, and say, like, so is this why you left? That you wanted to come back here instead of going somewhere safe with us?
The only reason it's not safe is because of Parasol. If we get rid of that, then we can stay.
Do you really think that's the job of this, what, a handful of kids and too many dogs, way too many dogs, but that's you guys' job is to take out Parasol and not professionals?
And
Sorry,
professionals want to go run away somewhere else? Yes.
or
Ooh,
when the
shots fired.
professionals are all under Parasol's foot, that's also a problem.
They kind of have eyes only for you right now, Emily, but Scott just kind of like looks a bit hurt, and or sorry, Hugo looks a bit hurt, and Scott just kind of narrows his eyes at you. Me and your father are not frontline heroes. I am a paramedic. He is a radio host operator. What do you expect
Plastic
us to
surgeon.
do? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he did like first aid work for heroes though. I thought plastic surgeon
True.
was just his
Yep, that's true. I'm sorry.
Wow, can your dad hook a brother up? Some publicity?
you need a nose job there.
Why not? Give me those injections.
A brain enhancement, maybe?
I was
Ooh.
thinking more. What is it called? It's not. It's what do they inject into your face? I'm not gonna remember it.
Botox, right?
Yes, thank you. Even though I'm like 16 years old.
But yeah. So yeah, he does first aid work. Your other father is a radio operator. What do you expect them to do about super villains and mind control.
I don't know, but running away isn't very heroic.
We didn't claim to be superheroes, Emily. We help the H2A. We're not on its roster.
People on its
Then what?
roster aren't doing anything either.
I don't know when our daughter, our obedient, good daughter who went to school and played volleyball, got it in her head that she could stand up to an evil corporation of mind control zombies.
Or along the way, I think I might have gotten in my head that I could do whatever I want. I could put my mind to. I wonder who taught me that.
Scott just looks at Hugo and is like, "It definitely wasn't me."
Oh, it
They
definitely
just,
was Hugo.
just kind of like he glares at him and Hugo like shrugs.
Void at this point is going to cough very loudly and gesture to the writhing pile of echidna and say, and she seems to be doing a fine job of it so far.
Yes, well, if Fourfold hadn't decided to stop being mind controlled when he did, I don't know how you guys would have gotten out of there.
I mean, probably wouldn't have. Probably some luck on Void's end and fishing me out. But you know,
I don't know if he decided to do that. I think they were still trying to get us back to the H2A.
Who did you piss off so much in Parasol that they've got this vendetta against you all? Like, who are you to them?
Void looks over at Shalem and doesn't say anything.
God, yeah, there'd be like just 3 quick panels of like Jalem, blank face, Neri, blank face, Muscle She, blank face.
Wait, why are we all blank faced?
Who are you to Parasol? Why are they mad at you? And just 3 different experiments of Parasol.
Julian was just like, well, do you want the short list or the long?
Okay, so it was you, and I take it that Emily's in trouble because we let you in our house.
No. She would have been in trouble regardless. Mainly because she stopped one of their experiments.
And what experiment was that?
Plant Monster A through Z. Take your pick.
Yeah, they just kind of rub their foreheads. Like, how long have you been breaking like every house rule we put on you, Emily?
When did I meet you, Jellum?
Couple months ago, give or take.
About that long.
So it is her fault, is what you're saying.
Just met her first.
It-
I don't remember.
Yeah,
And
we met first and then insanity happened.
and you're super sure that you didn't invite her to live with you because she's your girlfriend.
Hey, Void, you want to practice that mind jumbling again?
It could be useful.
Can you take it out of their mind that I have a girlfriend? Because that would be great.
Oh, and here I thought we had something. Jim starts with like a tearful look.
Gonna note out of that. She's not gonna answer it. She looks a little embarrassed.
You hear another crunch as Neri like snatches a carrot from Jalim's bag and just is smirking.
I mean, yeah, you could have. You don't have to give me a smug look, dude. You can just get one.
Scott just sighs and he just looks at you, Emily, like I'll admit you guys managed to take one down, but I don't know if I can just so easily let you guys kids put yourselves in danger like this. I really don't know what would have happened if we hadn't been there for you.
I mean, worst case scenario, you probably would have heard about a body flowing down the river.
Kill him.
What? I'm being honest.
You to fucking go to Timbuktu because that's where he's gonna take us.
Oh, so I'm coming too?
Yeah.
Me.
Muscle Sheep, your brother will look at you for a minute.
Yes, what is it, brother?
Do normal humans talk so much, brother?
They use their mouths a lot. Yes.
I think they should settle more things with fighting.
I think they should settle them with racing.
Both proper ways to sharpen one's sword.
You do not have a sword. Oh, wait. Most of she forgot that you are a sword.
Yes. Do you wish me to teach you how to open your sword, brother?
Muscle Seeber's not sure he wants to be a sword.
What then? A milk bone, perhaps?
Ooh, then Muscle Sheep could eat himself. No, wait. Then Muscle Sheep would not have mouth. He's just sitting there doing a hard think.
And Fox also kind of hard thinks with you. It'd probably be like the panel would have you guys like with a combined thought bubble of like drumstick equals slash through milk bone or something.
Superimposed by the math equation thing.
Nice. Well, Hugo will say, let's put it this way. You took out Echidna. What do you plan to do next?
I don't know. We haven't talked. We haven't
Walkies?
planned that far ahead. Yeah, well, walkies would be a good next step.
We did go out for ice cream that one time, although I wound up not partaking.
Allow me to rephrase. Are you going to keep taking out the directors no matter what we say, or can we try and talk some sense into you kids?
Well, I mean, if someone can stop them before us, then, you know.
To be adults if the adults would be adults. The adults are sucking right now.
Yeah, I imagine more than one person looks at Fourfold who it still looks like he's recovering from Neri. He'll just say like, "Hey, I believe most of my fellows are similarly occupied as I was. Per- Perhaps it would be a good plan for us to rescue them.
Well, I do not know how many more times I will be able to do what I did for you, and certainly I do not know if it will work every time.
There must be a better way for us to be freed.
Well, at the moment, the best we have to offer is a chemical that will provide some protection against its effects, but it will not undo damage that has already been done, and it is not a permanent remedy either. Something best saved for a final confrontation, as it were.
Scott will rub his chin and say, "It's just baffling to me that any one human, Pandoran or not, could have this kind of power. I mean, it's crazy to think he can control half the city by himself."
Well, that is what the towers are for.
Neri kind of cocks her head and says, "Well, not entirely.
Were you able to learn something else?
Strictly speaking, all the towers let him do is spread the signal of his power, but it's still on him to control them all. I mean, I don't know exactly how Young's powers work, but he must have to think for everyone in the city individually. It's kind of crazy."
Well, thinking about it that way, there was that neighbor of Emily's who was standing on the street corner for quite some time now.
Oh, right, that weirdo.
I wonder if he actually does control them all at the same time, or if he has to switch his focus between only a select number.
Fourfold will kind of chime in at that and say, "I do not believe he is constantly in control of everybody. There were times I received instructions, it feels." Furthermore, I believe perhaps there are more than one. The voices were not always the same.
Could you elaborate?
Well, I'm assuming this Dr. Young's voice is the one I heard most of the time, but 4 or 5 times I believe I heard a woman's voice and a different man's as well.
Well, he did have a male and female scientist that seemed to follow him around a lot that he would control from time to time. It could be their voices.
I would not know unless I heard them, but I think they might be involved.
Alternatively, the only other male and female voices that would make sense to be cooperating with him would be Dr. Mobius and oh, now I'm out of character. I'm forgetting her name all of a sudden.
Belladonna.
Belladonna, yes.
I do not know what plans they have concocted, but I must ask you, children, if it is at all possible for you to free my other heroes. You must. We will defend our city if we are able.
Well, that
I
was
mean,
what we were intending to do.
yeah.
And kind of looks over at Hugo and Scott and says, with Emily's help.
Scott will sigh and say, I think. I don't know if they've changed the timetable, but the overlords were supposed to come sometime next week. I think if they were going to, if Parasol was going to do anything big, they'd do it before they got here.
Yes, their arrival has struck me as something curious, but I do not know if it is merely a coincidence or if they do have something specifically planned for that.
I'll put it to you this way. If if you guys are able to do something like free the other heroes by the time they get here, then great. If not, when they arrive, we'll take Emily and as many of you as we can and get out of Halcyon and let them handle it. They're all about beating up supers anyway.
They will not let sheep on flights.
Then we'll take a boat. I mean, that's the time limit you guys have. After that, your safety comes first.
Void's inner monologue of the discussion of Sheeb not being allowed on flights and taking a boat. He's thinking to himself, I have a spaceship. We were literally just on it.
Nice.
You been stupid or what?
Basically, yeah.
You kids can keep playing your game or whatever it is you're able to do that got you to take out Echidna, but I'm not gonna have my daughter in here if it's gonna turn into an active war zone.
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I believe this already is a war zone.
It's not openly a war zone. Not like it will be if this paramilitary guerrilla group touches down and starts firing at people.
As I do worry about the outcome of that scenario. It will certainly have an effect on the public perception of heroes.
Yeah, you got that right. If they get here and everything's as bad as it is right now, I mean, that'll be the death knell of Halcyon City.
Well, then we had better work quickly, hadn't we?
I would say at that point there'd be this loud speech or sound effect bubble of an egg timer going off, and Emily, you look behind you at the chemistry set where the egg timer was ticking away.
Whose is that?
Um,
Aries, probably.
Void, were you cooking anything?
I was not.
I
And
don't think it's mine.
Neri will perk her head up and say, "Oh, is it done?" And she'll come bustling over and kind of move your father's out of her way and starts looking at the lip.
Well, what is it?
To the appearance, it's just like I said, she's got the full distillery kind of setup going, and there's this pale beigey kind of yellowy liquid that's collecting, and it's like foamy, bubbly almost.
We make meth and we also make beer sometimes. Specific.
Neri will swat at you and say, "It's not beer, it's my medicine."
That's what alcoholic would say, Neri.
Well,
Not wrong.
this alcoholic is going to have all of you and your dogs get out of her room so she can undress and ugh, inject her medicine. Ha ha. Get out.
Given that this is a one-room thing, I guess we're going back upstairs.
And Jim will actively like grab Marrow and Highlight and drag them out.
Okay, we're going, we're going.
Yeah, you guys would start to kind of vacate the premises, and I don't know who the last person in would be. I'd say you were in the back with her, maybe Emily. You might kind of look back over your shoulder and you see Neri's jacket already kind of moving off her shoulder, and there's that just weird, like really disfiguring black metal ring in her like back of her shoulder, and she starts to pull a syringe out of. Yeah, but next panel, that you guys are back up in the clean air. And I imagine the park is full of like 13 screaming dogs running around now.
14.
14.
Because sheep is one of them.
Don't you have 12 dogs, Gillette?
Oh.
I wanted to say there were 12. How many? Or no, I'm way over counting, aren't I?
Yeah, I don't think it was that many.
Oh, it was only 6. Okay, so there's 7 to 8 dogs running around.
Probably a few strays in the area.
You never know.
I don't know why I thought there were 12, but yeah, anyway. Marrow will kind of pipe up this time, and he's just got his shoulder resting against yours, Void Spawn, and he says, "So, are we gonna beat up Dr. Young next, or is your plant friend wanting to take out her beat?"
Well, part of me thinks Young would make the better target. He would suspect we would save him for last, I'm sure. So we may be able to catch him by surprise. But on the other hand, I feel as though Belladonna would be the easiest to lure out of hiding, given how angry she is at all of us.
It's just a somewhat out of character meta question. Are you lying, or do you honestly believe that?
I believe that. We left her shouting at us on a rooftop.
Oh no, yeah, the Belladonna part, but you had information quite the opposite about what Young thought.
Now I'm trying to remember what he said. I don't remember.
his male assistant, when he hypnotized you, expressly said that he thought you'd come for him first.
Hmm. Well, that may change my answer then, because I didn't intend on deceiving him. Um, hmm. I still same gist, just different reasoning. I would still say Belladonna would be the easiest to lure out of hiding.
Fair enough. I was just wondering if you had remembered that.
I did not.
Are you there, Richter?
They disappeared.
I think they did. They've been quiet a minute. Well, Hugo would probably pipe up and look at you. I think it was Voidswan that said it. You said that one of our neighbors has been hanging out on our corner. What was that about?
Yes, there was a neighbor of yours that I believe Emily could explain better. I believe he was trying to lure her to the H2A building before the beam thing happened, and has been observing your house on the corner of your street ever since.
That doesn't sound weird.
Yeah, he'll turn to you, Emily. Like, who was it, dear?
Wasn't their last name having to do with a bird? Was it Swan or something?
Okay. His hero name was a bird thing. It was Ziz, but their last name was totally different.
Okay, so I wasn't crazy with the bird. Um, yeah, the family across the street, like, their dad came over and really tried to get us to leave with them, and it didn't feel right, so I told them no. And he's been standing on the corner for like 3 weeks now, broken.
Okay, so you're talking about the Durans, right? The 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 dad has like the really big wings, right? He came over for
Yeah.
tea some. Right. Let's see. Void spawn and highlight, and if you aren't running around too busy, sheep, you can participate, but you guys can make plus superior rolls to assess the situation.
One of my superiors now shit.
No, I strike that actually. Roll it plus mundane.
That's even worse. Okay.
If this is what I think it is, I believe I add +1.
Oh wow.
Yes, you would.
Oh, still not good.
Wow, you're really bad at mundane.
I'm an alien. What do you want?
That's fair.
What's your mundane?
-1.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Yeah, Void, you don't notice it. I take it sheep's running around, Ryuk.
Yeah, I'm just running around with the dogs. Basically
I'm too
just
busy
playing.
feeling guilty.
Okay. I will say for sheep's sake, that really like smart squirrel that bothers you a lot is back, and he's just still outwitting you.
Brother, a foe worth fighting. The smart squirrel.
What makes this squirrel smarter than the others, brother?
I have not caught him. Because he is smarter.
I see. So he is a challenge then.
Yes.
you guys would there'd be just a panel like badly drawn in the distance of Muscle Fox becoming like a warhammer for sheep to take.
Oh
Oh,
no.
nice.
All right. But highlight, you will notice this. Not abundantly well, but you do get kind of out of the corner of your eye when Hugo says the Durans, Titania just kind of hides further behind Miro.
Huh. Interesting.
But to Emily, he'll just say, so I think if you guys are cool here, we're gonna go check on him, cause I mean he was always a good neighbor. I don't think we should leave him on the street corner for too long.
I didn't even know he was there.
And if he is a hero of any particular note, I may be able to attempt what I did with Fourfold and recover his mind if possible.
Actually, yeah, his hero name was Ziz. He was a 3-star hero, about the same rank as Fourfold. Um, not not the most popular. He was a bit of a hard ass, but he did good work.
Well, if you think you can bring him here, or else let me know and I will fly out back there.
We're gonna go home and make sure everything's okay. And kids, once you figure out what you're doing here, don't you all try and sleep down in the laboratory. Come back home. We'll we'll put you up there. And you see Hugo kind of lean down to Emily, and he just whispers in your ear, and I'll make Scott shred the plane tickets.
And she'll try it really hard not to not the fist bump, but you know when you kind of shake your fist like yes. She'll try not to do that.
Gotcha.
You're not doing the full Tiger Woods.
Well, they will depart. Fourfold is kind of still hanging out, looking around at you guys, and seems to be kind of taking it upon himself to make sure you're okay, but not super involved in the conversation.
Oh, at some point, Void will lean back towards the stairwell and say, Nary, would you like to sleep in an actual bed?
Nah.
You poking her head up through the stairway, like coming right next to you, actually, she'll kind of like suddenly materialize, and she's holding a little thimbleful left over of her medicine, but she just says, "Nope, gonna stay here next to my baby."
I want to
Do
check
you
in with
need any
Taylor.
company? You're kind of vulnerable here now.
What were you saying, Highlight?
Oh no, they can go first. I thought they were done.
Okay, yeah. She'll just look at you and say, "Well, I'm not more vulnerable here than I was before you guys came and uprooted my security systems. So you win some, you lose."
Well, if you are certain, but let us know if anything happens.
I didn't know you worried so much. Or is it just the girls you worry over, Void Spawn?
Remembering the earlier conversation, Void is like, I have no particular opinions about women one way or the other. Very nervous.
That's a good
Okay.
answer.
Like
Y-
jittery nervous or
Yes, like I don't want to inspire the anger that I saw her dealing with fourfold.
There'd be like at the side of that panel, just like Marrow's back, and like leaning around it like a wall is just Titania, like with the really like firm upside down pout face.
Is causing trouble no matter what he says.
But so are you back now, Richter?
yeah, sorry. So what did I miss?
Not a whole lot, but Neri will has kind of rejoined wearing like a long kind of robe almost, and she just tosses you a little closed container have with a little bit of that liquid in.
What's this?
It's the medicine I make myself. It's well, I don't know how well it would work for you, but I thought I made a bit extra so you could keep some of it.
Thanks.
In
She's
fact, oh, sorry.
like she's looking at this and Jillian is just very nervous.
I wouldn't recommend taking it unless something really bad happens with Belladonna, but it's probably good if you keep it just in case.
Got it. I'll keep that in mind as she puts it away.
So, what are you guys planning to do? I'm I'm okay now to go after Belladonna if you want, although maybe not as prepared in the heart as I should be, but I'm hearing that you guys also want to take out Young.
I mean, at this point, it's who's the bigger pain in the ass. That's what it boils down to.
Well, Young expressed belief that we would go after him next, and Belladonna is still particularly angry with us, so I think it would be serving our interests doubly well to defy his expectations and go after her.
Indeed. Yeah, but there's playing right directly to what they want, and then there's just, throwing a monkey wrench in their plan, in their expectations.
Well, I do not think it would be a lead up to some sort of a trap that he expressed this belief that we would go after him, because when he did so, he thought I was going to be under his control.
Hmm.
That's probably news to you guys.
I think I told them, didn't I?
Yeah.
Did you? I wasn't sure you had the opportunity to really get into it.
I didn't go into super detail, but I did say that he tried to brainwash me and that I think I'd cured myself, and there was some speculation as to whether or not I did.
Okay, that's fair.
I think it was
Perhaps.
like right before we got to the entrance to the lair of Echidna.
Okay. But probably still maybe, if not out loud, maybe in your head, you'd probably be thinking a bit more about the assistant and maybe his role in this overall plan. You've heard a few more things about Young's assistants today that might make you suspicious.
It's true. Oh, but I suppose this would probably be news to, well, everybody else that wasn't a member of our group down there.
True, and I think that's mostly just Nary.
And Fourfold and the parents if they haven't left yet.
I'd say the adults have mostly checked out, so it's mostly just her.
Okay. Also, there is something really poetic about phrasing it that way. The adults have mostly checked out. It's like, yeah, that's true of the whole city.
Right. Well, if you guys are not looking like you'll have a decisive plan, what else would you like to do?
Um, I honestly don't know.
What are we doing with Echidna?
I mean, we could just keep her in the bag.
I think she might suffocate.
Eh,
I get the feeling you are talking to the wrong person to care about that.
yep, you are.
Also, it would not surprise me if she could just kind of mutate into something that didn't need air.
Yeah.
You definitely would imagine that not doing something with her is probably a bad idea.
On the one hand, this I'm saying in character, on the one hand, this is probably the most secure location we can keep her. But on the other hand, I don't think it's a very good idea to leave her and Nary alone. If Parasol should decide to mount some sort of rescue operation, she would basically be defenseless here.
Yeah. So she Jillian starts loading up her pistol. So should we just end her now?
I don't know if that is a good idea either, but at the very least, I would still like to get some answers. She may know more about what Young has planned.
I mean, unless you can really just get in her head and just like I don't know, pry the information you need. Yeah.
You guys there'll be a panel there, like just a small one of like Fourfold looking at Jalim, and then he just snaps back forward and like has multiple sweat drops coming down.
What?
Inner monologue, like these kids are scary. Don't know what it is with the plant girls, but
It's
And
a
then
blood relative thing. They're all that way.
more or less.
well, if you phrase that out loud, that it might not be safe for her to be alone. Uh, really surprisingly, Titania will pipe up and say, "Well, I'll stay here then."
Um, that's a bit worrying.
She like tilts her head and like looks at you very innocently, like, "You just said you don't want her to be alone, right? Why is that weird?"
because she might kill you. That's what
But
I'm worried about.
well, Neri can do the fighting. I just will be here so she won't be alone, and I can call you guys for help if something happens.
Out of character, have we seen Neri really do any fighting?
No.
I don't believe either of you would be especially effective in combat. While you can be quite frightening in your own right, I don't believe you're very well trained for combat.
She'll puff up her cheeks and like pout at you. Then leave the dog with me.
Which one?
Well,
True,
taking
we have 7 now.
And even like all of Jalim's dogs just stare at Titania.
the one that punches things.
Again, which one?
He has a name, you know.
Oh, what was it? Is it Cadillac? Oh God.
You know, I actually remembered where I got that from. And it's
Where
from
did you get
Chrono
it?
Trigger.
Oh no.
It's one of the racers of the Millennial Fair. It's just a cat.
Uh, Just if you don't think I can take care of myself, then leave the punchy dog with me.
Are you certain you'll be okay here? Seems, I know she wants to stay here to be with her experiments, but if we're going to leave Sheeb here anyway, you may as well sleep comfortably.
Well, no, I couldn't just leave her here with only the dog for company. I mean, no, I'll stay with her.
Well,
You just
if
want to
you're
kill and
certain.
order takeout, don't you?
She'll puff out her cheeks at you too.
In a like a pouty way.
Yeah.
Well, I do think it would be a good idea for us to stop somewhere to celebrate our victory before we head back to Emily's house.
Well, yeah, we can't.
Speaking of food.
Actually, I just realized something. Are we even allowed anywhere near this city?
We did not get caught last time.
Yeah, just because we're wanted doesn't mean we can't go.
We can always send Fox in. They haven't met Fox.
Yes, just
True.
have the muscle fox order food.
Why not, man?
What could possibly go wrong?
He just comes back with 12 swords.
Where did you even get those? They don't sell swords.
I mean, that's you guys are totally able to do so if you'd like.
More worrying was the idea, oh, I could just shapeshift. And then I was like, well, what would Void bring back? Probably a stack of DVDs.
He'd go to Blockbuster.
The last remaining blockbuster in existence.
Don't even start with Blockbuster.
But this is an alternate universe, so
That exists.
The alternate universe where Blockbuster was smart and invested in streaming video services.
That's almost too much to ask for.
Well, the multiverse is the idea that every infinite possibility exists somewhere, so there has to be one universe where that happened.
So it sounds like you guys are gonna go get milkshakes round two.
Sounds like a good a place as any to discuss what we're gonna do next.
Did we
Yeah.
decide what the milkshake place was called? Did we come up with a name for it?
I don't think you did. Do you want to?
Somebody should.
It should have like a cow in the name.
What?
Moo
It should have
shake?
like cow in the name. Or moo shake.
Universe.
You weeby fuck.
Well, you guys can come up with whatever name you want it to have.
I'm trying to think of one now.
Yeah, I am too. I can't think of anything. And I'm honestly disappointed that I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Cowabunga milkshakes.
Oh god.
That's as good a name as any.
So you guys pull up into the drive-through of Brown Cow's Cowabunga Shakes with your spaceship.
I like to imagine I literally do that. Just make someone's night.
At first, they are the very spaced out, probably a little bit high, like teenager that takes your order is convinced that the aliens have come to abduct him again because they obviously did one time before.
Okay.
Again.
Okay, but Void Spawn not understanding the whole like, hello, can I take your order?
Mm.
Where is that voice coming from?
Please pull forward. We can't hear you over the sound of your faster than light engine.
In the meantime, I think my issue would probably be less where is the voice coming from and more why can't I understand the voice? What language are they speaking? I have a universal translator and I still can't understand it.
Alright, so after a lot of false starts, you guys are able to get your milkshakes.
It's like, please fill up the next window. The order is going to be 695. What?
Who said that?
Don't worry about it.
So you guys have your suite of brown cows cowabunga shakes, and they do cinnamon coated sweet potato fries with every shake here for optimum dip.
Oh boy.
Huh. But, so yeah. No. She just like, Dylan just takes her shake and goes like, so, what now?
Oh, the important question is what flavor of milkshake did each of you get?
Avocado.
That's
Peanut butter.
disgusting.
Avocado and peanut butter. Okay, next.
I just got, standard cookies and cream.
Okay, boring. Gotcha. How about Emily?
Shut up.
Can I do like maple flavoring goes with sweet potatoes, right? And brown sugar, like brown sugar maple? Or am I crazy?
No, it does.
That goes well.
I'd probably try to get like maple pecan or something to go with the fries.
So you get the Canadian special, complete with the red leaf.
Yes.
And bacon.
Ooh, that actually sounds good.
Alright, and Void, do you get the Pop Rocks flavor?
I think just to change things up a bit, since Emily is usually on my case about behaving weirdly, I'll just copy her order.
So I'm sure your initial thought is, why does this flag have a leaf on it?
It's not a symbol of power, it's a leaf. Oh, don't mess with Canada, they'll just dry up and blow away. I don't say any of that, obviously.
Alright, so 2 Canadian specials, a cookies and cream, peanut butter, and avocado milkshakes to go.
Okay, seriously, who ordered the avocado one?
Guilty.
How very California of you.
You're a disgrace. That's disgusting.
Just gonna slurp it indignantly.
Don't tell me you put avocado on toast.
I've actually never had that. Believe it or not.
So once again, you guys are firmly in that celebration mode. If you'd like to use those moves, or if there's anything else you guys would like to talk about, plan your way ahead, or however you want to do. Open forum.
I can't use my moves because it requires publicity.
And you don't have any right now.
I have 0.
Rip.
You couldn't just post something for yourself? Or does it require, like, what does it require?
Let me bring it up. It says when I share a triumphant celebration, I have to say whether it's part of the show, and clearly it's not because we don't have a show.
Not anymore.
No one's paying attention to me.
The horror.
I think, if I remember correctly, when we were first announced to be terrorists, that there were some of your fans that were pleased with the new bad boy thing you had going on.
Yeah, I guess so in a weird, twisted way.
I don't know if those were the fans you wanted to be appealing to or not.
Yeah. Not really.
Like, you get accused of murder and they're like all for it, and it's like, I don't know if I want to be appeasing this psychopath fan base. That seems dangerous.
Hey, as long as
Mhm.
they don't cheer you for going to a forest that is known for people to commit suicide at.
Oh my
It's just
god.
No.
that for some fucked up reason.
More importantly, just don't start selling bathwater.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And before it turns out that that as a product.
I forgot about that. Oh, what an icon.
Ugh.
Alright, so any planning or moments to share?
Who are we deciding to go after? Was it Belladonna?
Pretty much at this point in the game, yes.
I don't know nothing about her.
Don't worry, I can tell
She
you
is
everything
meaty.
about her. I can tell you everything about her.
She is a meanie and must be defeated. Blah, 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 blah.
That's all we need to know.
Them.
All right. Well, you guys will be able to eat your milkshakes then with just some general niceties and friendly banter and that kind of.
I feel like Highlight's low-key losing his mind.
Why?
Losing?
He's
Wait,
losing
what?
whatever semblance of a mind he had. Because he don't got any attention.
This is like the third day in a row. Yeah, you've been like wanted.
So he's like, pay attention to me.
He's having withdrawals.
Oh,
When was the
Yeah,
last time you tagged your location on social media?
Exactly. When was the last time people cared about where I was?
The H2A cares.
They're not important. They don't like me.
the H2A would like to know your location.
actually, if
Oh
you know
God.
are kind of but if you're flicking through your phone during this like milkshake powwow, there are totally articles on like Reddit and Twitter like, where is Highlight? Has he gone missing? Planning his next terrorist move? Police reports confirm that Highlight has gone missing. Only time will tell what his next nefarious act will be.
And then
God.
he'll see that and then like post on Twitter with like a picture of his milkshake, like so nefarious, so good. Just to be a little salty.
Also,
So
another
true.
article that, of course, would have to exist is Top 10 Ways Highlight Has Betrayed the Trust of the People. Number 6 will surprise you.
That's not the clickbait
And
I
then
want to be a part of.
Muscle Sheep makes new friend. Surprising pics that will make your day.
And it's just him chasing people.
Highlight has now made it to like number 2 of the top 10 lists of heroes that went bad and you love.
Also, I like to imagine, that just kind of reminded me that Highlight, of course, is being labeled as a terrorist and this is affecting his publicity, but Muscle Sheeb is still like beloved by all, even though the H2A tried to make him seem like a terrorist.
Well, yeah, because all they have is pictures of him smiling.
Do any of you guys watch One Piece?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's just him. It's just the Luffy poster, isn't it?
It's Chopper. That's what he makes me think of.
Wait,
Not yet.
who?
Chopper.
Who is the chopper poser?
The raccoon who, despite everything, is still viewed as the pet, so he only has 50 berry bounty.
Oh, right. Okay. 50.
It's like, yeah, the captain has like millions of a bounty, and just Tony Chopper has gone from 50 to 500 berry as the pet. But weebery aside, sorry.
Those articles give me ideas, though.
I do know what I'm going to do with my triumphant celebration thing, but the moment hasn't come.
Okay, so as in you're not going to do it for this little powwow?
Not yet.
Gotcha. Well, so my last bit of takeaway then, before we move on to like another scene, are you guys going to let Neri and or let Titania stay with Neri, and is she gonna stay with her? How you guys gonna sort that?
I know why you're doing this, so I don't have any input.
Yeah, I do too, so I feel like anything that I would do would probably be based on meta.
I ask like where she's gonna stay.
You guys were trying to figure out something to do with Echidna. You said something about leaving her with Neri, and Titania volunteered to totally stay and watch over it. She'll be the one to stay behind.
Well, as long as I'm not doing it.
Has
Wow.
nothing to do with not being anywhere near Emily's house.
I don't have a problem with her staying there because that means she's not in my house with Void.
Think they do it
So
on the
jelly.
guest bedroom? I mean, that's just trashy.
Yuck.
And we'd at least have the decency to use the spaceship.
Okay, well, I need a little bit of direction, I guess. Not that I want y'all to be meta or anything, but whatever you guys do want to do in character with that.
I do definitely think having Muscle Sheep stay there would probably be a good idea, because we can trust Muscle Sheep to be able to defend the facility from an attack, and the
Yeah.
other two would be able to call us in the meantime, so we could show up pretty quick.
So we need to go drop Shade back off? Do you think we should bring them a treat?
Well, I know Titania would not turn down a milkshake.
What if it was the avocado one?
She'd probably kill you.
It's sweet.
Translator note, it's not sweet.
That girl probably hasn't willingly ate a vegetable in like 20 years.
How old is she?
She's not 20.
Okay,
My point exactly. She hasn't had any vegetables her whole life.
Yeah, I would probably pick out whatever looks like it's the sweetest, most sugar-filled flavor you could get.
Fruity Pebbles.
You get the creme de leche flavor.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
And what would you like to bring for Neri?
Plant-based.
Mint?
Probably something fruity and minty.
Oh, I would have figured you would have done something vinegary or something.
No? Even vinegar flavored ones?
Well, something like that. I just was making fun of how sour she is.
Well, I mean, she'd get green apple for sure.
Green apple milkshake, that does not sound appealing.
That's the point.
Mystery
Boy.
flavored airhead flavor?
No.
Here at Brown Cow's Cowabunga Milkshakes, they have every flavor that your plot hearts can desire.
Anything you want.
On the one hand, in character, Void would feel bad about getting something not tasty for Nari, because she has been super helpful to us, but on the other hand, in character, Void doesn't know what's tasty or not.
Let's get her
You're
something with mint in it. That's good enough.
Void to
Mint
the
chocolate
intercom.
chip.
You're absolutely sure you don't have DVDs?
Oh god, yeah.
Concern.
I'd like to speak to your manager. I think you'd really look and benefit from that as a topping.
Your
Void.
menu explicitly says you will offer any flavor we need, and you are telling me you do not have DVDs?
You need to uninstall your Karen software there, buddy.
You need to teach Void Spawn what a Karen is.
Okay,
That's probably true.
so you guys bring those milkshakes back. So, Neri and Titania will be down in the bunker with a still very bound and angry Echidna, and the muscles are gonna spend the night out as guard dogs, is what I'm
Sounds like a good plan to me. As good a plan as we're gonna get.
Yep.
Sounds good. And then you guys will make your way back to Emily's house, where things appeared mostly normal. Looks like your dads have kind of gotten things back under control. Although Seymour is still waddling about in a pan.
And as we're all exiting the ship to head into the house, Void will ask Emily if he can talk for a second.
Yeah.
And once the others have stepped off the ship, he's going to give her a hug.
Oh. What did I do to deserve that?
I'm glad you're not leaving.
I'm glad you're not going yet quite yet either.
How many lines have they had to draw for your blush, Emily?
Aw.
All of them?
Sounds like at least 3.
I was gonna say, is it the 3, the 4, like the like really intense cross hatching?
It's a 5, so probably cross hatching.
And so my team move for celebration is displaying a form of meaningful affection, physical or emotional, and they get to decide if it's meaningful. So is that meaningful to you?
I mean, yeah.
So
And
you
so
gain influence over them.
which I think I already do. Yeah, so it doesn't make a difference, but it's good story.
It is, and let's do something here. Let me look up real quick. You can use your influence over someone to, well, okay. You can either give a condition to them, which I don't think you'd want to do, or you can take an additional +1 to move targeting them, which if you wanted to say, spend your influence, comfort her, use that move we don't use a lot, and then gain that influence back from that, you could try and do so.
Yeah, sure. Even though I am absolutely dog shit at comforting right now because I have a -3 to it.
Well, you get a +2 for you had influence on her and you're spending it for a bonus +1, so that might help.
Yeah, it's worth a shot.
Okay, so roll plus mundane plus your.
Hey, not terrible.
Your mic isn't coming through, babe. Ren? Your mic is not coming through.
Hello.
There we go.
Hi.
Now you're
Hello.
back.
Hi.
Yep.
Everything that you might have said after he rolled did not come up.
Oh, I was the one that wasn't coming through?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Well,
Discord.
Okay. Well, you can hear me now?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he rolled to comfort or support you and succeeded. So you, Emily, can mark.
And I think we lost him again.
I hate Discord.
that came
You're not
through
the
and
only
nothing
one.
else.
Mm.
You're not the only one who hates this accursed program, by the way.
Let's all go back to Skype. Haha, no, let's not.
Let's all go
That's not
back.
even
To,
That's a
funny.
different nightmare.
let's all go back to TeamSpeak.
Let's all just give each other our phone numbers and rack up our phone bills.
You want me to read it or him? Hello.
I think
Hello.
it's your choice. So you would, yeah, it's they mark potential, clear condition, or shift labels. So that's your choice. Which one you want to do?
Eh, read comfort or support. I'm trying to find that.
It's under the basic moves.
Because we basic.
Okay, so I would roll mundane.
No, you've already been comforted. So
Okay.
pick what you want to be done to you.
Okay.
Phrasing.
I don't have any conditions, so maybe potential.
Okay, so through this emotional bonding experience, you get potential.
Yay. And here I was, too much of a pussy to use my celebration because I was afraid I would get my feelings hurt.
Well, assuming I don't cut out, I'll go on. Am I coming in, Houston?
Quick,
Yep.
act like we can't hear him.
Oh.
Damn it.
You guys will enter the house fine. Jalim Seymour probably would come up to you as he's still kind of panicked.
Mm-hmm.
Is red alert off, boss? I've been on mission critical for like 12 hours.
I mean, yeah, you can take it easy, but have you had anything to eat? You're looking kind of pale.
I think that's just because the last suit I ate was a little bit underdone.
Mm. Anyways, she'll just like go into like a drawer, pull out a small patty looking thing. It's basically the meat she feeds him. Like, here you go. You look. I'm sorry if I didn't feed you before I left. This should be good for you. And she just like throws the patty like in underhand so that he can catch it.
There's just the gulp sound effect bubble.
That works.
You guys will enter the house. Everything appears normal. Scott's in the lounge reading. Hugo's in the kitchen, kind of cleaning up dishes, and Ziz, your neighbor, is just sitting down at the table with a cup of tea in front of him that he's not drinking, and it's oversteeped. He's just kind of staring ahead.
Um, you do know how creep. He does know how creepy that looks, right?
Well, Ziz doesn't.
Eh,
Has he been like this since you brought him home, Dad?
Yeah, we got him to sit down, but that's about all we could do.
That's a bit worrisome.
We actually got him a bit cleaned up and put him in some of your father's older clothes. He hadn't changed in a while.
Wonderful.
He'd just been standing out in the rain.
I mean, there's being dedicated to your job and all, but jeez.
I don't even want to think about the bathroom situation.
Ew.
So, did you kids decide what it is you're gonna get up to next?
We're gonna probably blow up another associate, a high-ranking associate.
I hope that's figurative.
Eh,
Yeah. Jellum.
what? I figured you'd
Literal
want
for
to.
the tower, at the very least.
Yeah. I mean, that tower thing has to go.
Alright, well, I've got chicken nuggets in the oven that should be done soon. Void Spawn, was it? Was there anything you could try and do for him?
Yes, I can attempt to do what I did with Fourfold and see if it works.
Alright, I will just say, not that I don't want you to do it, because I think it'd be hilarious, but you would have to mark a condition to even try, right?
Yes. Well,
So,
that's something I was going to ask about, because the thing that lets me gain like temporary abilities, it does say that I lose the powers once the danger is gone. If this is an ongoing thing, would I still have them?
let's see. And that's kind of difficult, because on one hand, like, you guys just celebrated and were like,
Yeah,
in that downtime.
relaxing. Yeah.
But that might be too, like, D&D of an interpretation for me, right? Like, it's not a short rest, this is a different system.
Either way, I'll go with what you decide.
I will say for now, you can keep that ability. It might need to mutate further as you get closer to dealing with Young himself if you want to use it for anything more heavy.
Okay, that makes sense.
So if you want to attempt, you can just use an Unleash Your Powers check. But again, we'll see how that goes. You could still get up to 4 condition.
That is true. So yeah, we'll see if this works. Hmm, 8 again.
Okay, so I do have to ask then, a 4th condition or asterisks?
Hmm. 4 is really kind of pushing it.
Yeah, I would not go for 4, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'll take the asterisk. Hopefully
Okay.
not just leave him a brain dead husk now.
Oh no,
He's
don't
just really
worry.
stressed out.
Okay. Can you all turn your music on?
Like, music
Like
for the
like your
site?
roll 20 volume. Like, it doesn't have, like, just make sure you have some volume playing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
All right. So you reach inside Ziz is. I'm from the other room. My wife just accused me of rickrolling you.
I wouldn't put it past you.
I wouldn't either.
Thank you.
I'm not that much of a jerk.
Like,
Oh,
this entire campaign has just been one massive setup for this very moment.
Slash doubt. Also, I'm not hearing anything.
I'm not playing it yet.
Oh.
He has to find the YouTube video first.
Okay. As you guys, as you reach inside the mind of Ziz here, once again, there's that gold everywhere, and you're having to chip away through it bit by bit. Something different happens as you're getting towards recent memories. Because unlike Fourfold, it's as if he's not been getting instructions recently. Or if he has, he's been ignoring them. Because one thought has been stuck in his head that's been overpowering even the mind control. And you hear it quite plainly in his voice in your mind, transferred by your powers. I've got to find my daughter. And as you are finally clearing out the last of the gold around the control of his mind, in that reflective surface there'd be a panel of a pair of eyes that appear, and you'll hear in your voice, you'll hear in your head the voice of Dr. Young. We meet again.
That we do.
Do you intend to clean them all one by one?
If that is what it takes.
Why be so petulant? You could end it all so much quicker if you just came and found me.
Where would be the fun in that when we could demolish your entire scheme?
You think you have what it takes to undo my plans, Voidspawn? Me, who have orchestrated everything you've done up until now?
By myself, no. But with my friends, perhaps.
Well, this will be fun then. Do your best. Make your effort. I will be waiting for you. And I'll be waiting to snap my fingers.
What is that supposed to mean?
You'll see when you come. It will be ever so much fun.
Now, I have no doubt we will have fun.
If you do go to Belladonna first, give her my love, won't you? She's in a bad state.
Well, we did not leave her on the best of terms, did we?
No, that drug your friend gave her didn't agree with her well. I think you might as well put her out of her misery if you pay a visit.
Void is just now thinking, based on the way he's wording that, whether the bad state was anger, like he originally thought, or if she's actually, like, medically in a bad state. So he doesn't answer anything back. He's just thinking about that.
Yeah, fair enough. There'll be a couple of panels where the eyes just kind of narrow and what look like almost a smile, although you can't see his mouth as he says, "Have this one, Void. You will not be able to deprive me of many more of my playthings.
Well, we shall see. The way I plan it, we will have all of your playthings back to themselves soon enough.
You will not be the first to have tried. And then they will blink out of existence. And you may scrub the last of the gold away, and Ziz will wake up.
Well, I have good news and bad news.
What's
Good,
the good news?
the good news is I believe it was successful. The bad news is I was noticed.
As you kind of come out of your trance and are kind of relaying that to your friends, there'd be a commotion, like a sound effect from a different panel, and you guys would look, and uh, Ziz has stood up from the chair. It's crashed to the floor, and he's like pinning Hugo to the kitchen wall, like holding him up off his feet. And you all are probably scrambling, and there's some commotion going on. And the last speech bubble of this panel would be Ziz shouting, "Where is Jocelyn?" And that will be the end of this issue.